The most important business deal of Marcus Whitmore's life was only minutes away from being signed when a waitress quietly placed a cup of coffee beside him and whispered 5 words that made the billionaire's blood run cold: "Your translator is lying to you." Marcus stared at her, certain he had misunderstood. The conference room above the elegant hotel restaurant was filled with executives, lawyers, and German investors, and on the table lay a contract worth nearly $500 million. One wrong move could destroy years of work. Yet the young waitress, Grace Bennett, looked terrified enough to risk everything just to warn him. If you believe kindness, courage, hope, and second chances can change a person's life, take a moment to like this story, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Marcus had built Whitmore Logistics from a tiny rented office in Ohio into one of America's largest transportation companies, but wealth had never erased the memory of his beginnings. His father, Thomas, had died when Marcus was 22, leaving behind debts instead of an inheritance. His mother, Rebecca, had worked long hours at a grocery store, and Marcus had promised her that one day she would never have to worry about money again. Now, at 47, he had achieved everything he once dreamed of, yet he had become so focused on protecting his company that he rarely trusted anyone completely. That was why he had hired Adrian Cole, a polished multilingual consultant who had helped negotiate the German partnership for almost a year. Adrian was confident, charming, and seemingly indispensable. The meeting was taking place at a luxury hotel in Chicago, where representatives from a major German manufacturing group had flown in to finalize the agreement. Marcus sat at the head of the table while Adrian translated every sentence between English and German. The investors appeared pleased, but Marcus noticed something strange. Their lead negotiator, Klaus Reinhardt, repeatedly frowned after Adrian translated certain financial clauses. Marcus assumed the differences were simply cultural or technical. Then Grace entered carrying coffee. She had been working at the hotel for nearly 3 years, saving money to attend nursing school while caring for her widowed mother, Martha. She was not supposed to interrupt executives, but as she placed Marcus's cup down, she saw the page Adrian had left open beside him. She recognized several German words from the community college course she had taken at night. Grace's hands trembled as she leaned closer and quietly warned him. She explained that Adrian had changed the meaning of a crucial clause. The German investors were not agreeing to give Marcus control of the joint distribution network, as Adrian had claimed. They were actually demanding shared authority over several of Whitmore Logistics' most profitable American routes. Marcus felt the room tilt beneath him. He looked at Adrian, who immediately dismissed Grace as mistaken and reminded everyone that she was only a waitress. The insult might have convinced Marcus if he had not noticed Klaus looking directly at Grace with an expression of sudden recognition. Instead of signing, Marcus asked everyone to pause. He requested the original German document and called an independent translator from another firm. Adrian became visibly uncomfortable. Within minutes, the truth began unfolding. Grace had been right. Adrian had deliberately altered several phrases, making the agreement appear far more favorable to Marcus than it actually was. Had Marcus signed, his company could have lost control of critical assets and faced years of legal complications. The German investors were furious, but not at Marcus. Klaus explained that they had suspected something was wrong because Adrian's translations had repeatedly contradicted their own intentions. Adrian eventually admitted that he had manipulated the negotiations because he had been secretly working with another business group that wanted the German partnership to collapse. Marcus felt betrayed, but the greatest surprise came afterward. He learned that Grace had studied German because her late father had once dreamed of becoming a translator but never had the opportunity. After his death, Grace had promised herself that she would finish something he could not. She had been working double shifts, attending classes at night, and quietly building a future while most people saw only her uniform. Marcus found her after the meeting in the hotel kitchen, where she was wiping tables with tears still in her eyes. He thanked her, but Grace simply said she had done what she hoped someone would have done for her family if they were ever in trouble. Her words stayed with him. For years, Marcus had measured people by resumes, titles, and bank accounts. That day, a waitress with no powerful connections had shown him something his wealth never could: character does not need a position to have value. Marcus offered Grace a job in his international relations department, but she initially refused, afraid that people would think she had received it out of pity. Instead, he arranged a paid language internship that allowed her to continue her nursing education while gaining professional experience. Grace accepted only after Marcus promised her that she had earned the opportunity herself. The German deal was eventually completed honestly, with new safeguards and independent translation, and it became one of the most successful partnerships in Whitmore logistics history. Months later, Marcus visited his mother and told her what had happened. Rebecca smiled and reminded him of something his father used to say: money could open doors, but kindness could make people willing to walk through them with you. Marcus realized that his greatest success had not been the company he built or the fortune he accumulated. It was becoming the kind of man who could finally recognize courage in someone the world might otherwise overlook. Grace eventually entered nursing school, and Marcus remained one of her mentors. Years later, when she graduated, she invited him to the ceremony. As she walked across the stage, Marcus stood and applauded louder than anyone. He knew that the woman who had once carried coffee into a billionaire's meeting had changed far more than a business deal. She had changed the way he saw people. If this story touched your heart, please support it by liking the video, sharing it with someone who believes ordinary acts of courage still matter, and subscribing for more stories about hope, compassion, and second chances. And before the story ends, leave a comment telling us this: have you ever been helped by someone the world underestimated? Sometimes the person we almost ignore is the very person who can save the day. Marcus never forgot Grace's warning, but more importantly, he never forgot why she had given it. She had nothing to gain, no influence to protect, and no reason to believe a billionaire would listen to her. She simply saw something wrong and chose to do what was right. And from that day forward, Marcus understood that the most valuable things in life are rarely found inside contracts, bank accounts, or boardrooms. Sometimes they arrive quietly, wearing a waitress's uniform, carrying a cup of coffee, and reminding us that one brave act of kindness can change an entire future.